What is going on, YouTube? Today we are reacting a rough day for Highguard. This is another video done by Moist Critical, and this is following the 2 weeks after Highguard got released and how bad it's been doing and everything. And tell me what you guys think about Highguard as a game in itself. Do you think it was actually warranted all the hate, or do you think it actually is just that bad? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I do stream over at twitch.tv/TrueEarl and on this main YouTube channel as well. So if you guys want to hang out, I'd love to see you guys there. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
Jinkies.
So,
Highguard. Huh? What's the deal with salt shakers? Am I right? It's well, it's not good news.
It's terrible. Yeah.
On the front of Highguard.
A lot of people got fired or got laid off.
An announcement, and maybe an announcement's not the right word to use. It's not really accurate to say that. There have been some LinkedIn posts from former Wildlight employees. Wildlight is the studio behind Highguard.
Okay, it was.
Mentioning that most of the staff has been laid off at the studio following the release of Highguard, which only came out about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks appears to be like
oh boy, the 2 weeks for Concord.
Because Concord had something very similar where it only had a lifespan just barely longer than a mosquito, where it had completely shut its doors in about 2 weeks. It barely even was able to open its eyes.
I'm wondering how long Concord will not Concord. Oh damn, I'm sorry. How long Highguard will actually last? Because oh boy, it did not do. Honestly, it did well on its opening day. Technically, I think it had like max like 94,000 ish. Like that's the all-time high. It's just that it couldn't really retain much. I don't know. I think it's only at like 4,000 now. So
it seems like
really bad. 10%
is the magic number that big budget games are given to either blow up or blow out your ass.
Yep.
It's like in The Ring, you know, where you get that phone call saying you're going to die in 7 days, but in the video games industry, you get 14 days. You're going to die in 14 days, it seems. Now,
and on top of that, they didn't even get like a lot of money because they were a live service game. So like you had to buy skins or cosmetic stuff, like in-game currency, like Fortnite, a battle pass, whatever, stuff like that. So they actually made like almost to no money because like not a lot of people liked it. So not a lot of people spent the money on it. So that means. And it was free to play, so they made no money on initial purchases either. Oh my god, they must be down bad.
In Highguard's case, they actually had put out a whole year-long roadmap, which made a lot of people believe more heavily in them committing to the long-term
they had a full year,
it and trying to make it flourish and find a player base. And make no mistake, this game did have
so even more, 97,000 players, and right now 2,000. I saw 4,000. Oh gosh, and damn, that's really bad. Not even like 10% of the player base even decided to stay, which is not good. Like, oh, I don't know. That's people, because I heard people say they were review bombing, but I don't know if that causes that number to drop that drastically.
Successful launch. The day this puppy came out, 100,000 curious sports fans hopped in there to check it out. But as of right now, there's just over 2,400.
Yeah, 2,400. Damn, man.
Isn't really like the smallest potatoes ever. 2,400 concurrent players with nearly a 4K 24-hour peak is pretty decent for a lot of games, but
just not
the scope of this project and the size of the team, it looks
like it's not really AAA, is it?
Closing the doors on a lot of the employees here. I don't know if that means they're looking to shut it all down or if they're looking to just downsize because they can't justify the spend any longer. I'm not entirely sure.
To be honest, they're probably shutting down.
But it's certainly not looking good for the future of Highguard, which unfortunately I don't think a ton of people were surprised by. A lot of people kind of predicted
a lot of people hated it around the rip.
I don't think anyone read this shocked. Like, I don't think there was anyone like eyes wide open, you know, jaw on the floor, stunned by this news.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm like one of the people that didn't really like Highguard when I saw the trailer of it at the Game Awards. I saw it, I'm like, okay, this should not be the last game. And also it just seemed kind of meh, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't have anything new to the genre. It just looked like any other sort of hero shooter or just shooter in general. It literally looked like a Valorant, Overwatch. And like those they already established, they don't really have a back. Like the game itself didn't really have a backing. Like Overwatch is already mainstream in the gaming. Like you're not really gonna get people coming out, like leaving those games to come here. So I can see like why like it's probably gonna fail like majorly here. And I mean, what can you expect? It was probably a bad game. I don't know, because I didn't play it personally.
Releasing a game like Highguard,
I couldn't be asked.
The current saturation of this market is kind of a death sentence. Like, those guards must be high to be expecting this to be like a massive success that blows
like it had to
else out
really be
its
good
own footing off rip. That was always going to be an uphill battle. It's very difficult to get gamers to switch from their comfort game to your
like
game.
your League of Legends, your Overwatch.
They might go check it out, but most likely they're going to go back to the game that they've spent the most time with, the one they're most accustomed to. The most notable example that completely bucks that trend is Marvel Rivals, where it entered into an extremely saturated genre, fucking hero shooters. That should have been dead on arrival, death sentence, bury that shit in the dirt.
Should it though?
But thanks to the...
I think I might have to disagree with that one, just because it might, I feel like the only one they had to compete with really that I know of is Overwatch, and Overwatch was kind of down. They weren't getting much players as when they first came out. Obviously that makes sense. But I mean, like in general, like you have Marvel, then as like the name Marvel itself, that's a very big brand, and those characters are all sick, and everybody would want to play as them. So like it's kind of like a Spider-Man game. A Spider-Man game is always gonna do good. A Batman game is always, even though it's not Marvel, a Batman and Superman, like all these hero type genres, they're always gonna do good because people want to play as them. And I think that's why Marvel Rivals works so well. And on top of that, they had a good game. They had a good, they understood the genre of hero shooters as well. But I think the most, and hey, maybe a little bit of gooning on the side too, you know, hey, a little bit of Gooner's help.
Power of the Marvel IP, where so many people
are
so
See, he's just said it
about
exactly
Marvel itself, and also the developers diverting tons and tons and tons of resources to just churn things out really quickly, very high quality.
Yeah, a lot of
and also
characters
the timing
and
they entered
maps.
the market where Overwatch was starting to flounder and people were hungry for something to replace it.
Oh my god!
Marvel
Holy
Rivals
shit!
Just had all the stars align, and now it is successful, and it did carve out its niche. Highguard didn't have those luxuries. People were even confused on what Highguard was in the first place. They announced at the Game Awards and then went fucking radio silent crickets for a whole month.
Yeah, there's no advertising.
I thought it was a hero shooter
too. Is it not?
I thought it was fucking Concord 2.0. There were so little things to know about it, so
it
it's
is
hard
now.
for people to get hyped and buy
now.
into this idea of Highguard in the first place when they weren't even talking about it. So when the game came out, and in my opinion was okay, like I don't think it's a great game. I don't think it was a bad game. It was just kind of an
I saw gameplay of it. I saw a lot of streamers playing it, and honestly, I do not trust streamers when they get ads for games. Like, I'm sorry, like they are gonna say only positives. That's just what it is. They're only gonna say positive, and because they're getting the bag. You can't really trust a streamer when they say there's a hashtag ad in there. But I mean, if you watch other people just play the game without the sponsor, then you can really get an idea. It's like, oh, this is like, it's not groundbreaking. It's kind of meh. You know, it's just like, oh, it runs well, it shoots well, it kind of feels well, but there's nothing more that I can get if I could just go play like a Valorant or even Apex Legends probably, like, you know what I mean? Again, I did not play the game. I just watched to see, because I want to see if I'm going to take my time out of leaving the games I do like to play this. And I did it. I didn't see what I would want to play.
Right, mid-game. So it was always going to struggle retaining a player base. People tried it. They were lukewarm on it. Some people hated it. Some people
a lot of people hate it on Steam.
It was always going to be tough to get them to stick with it long term, especially if the developers don't seem willing to. Like, these layoffs don't inspire confidence. So there's 2,400 people playing it right now, and I imagine they really like it to still be playing.
Yeah, 100%.
And they did add things to it, like the 5v5 mode. So it seems like there is a willingness to try and like flesh it out. But with these layoffs, it seems like the future is uncertain. And who knows, you know, maybe down the line they could have carved out a unique identity for it. It did have some unique ideas, like with the base rating. So, like, maybe there's a what if there.
Yeah,
and
a little bit.
They haven't announced that they're shutting down.
Again, like, honestly, it maybe it's also like they didn't go for the final spot. Maybe they went for like the early spot of like the Game Awards. Maybe that would have helped. I honestly, it just didn't seem like that kind of groundbreaking. And didn't also, oh, never mind. We're not gonna talk about that one. Jeff, fuck it, we're gonna talk about it. Jeff also talked about the new Wildfire, I think it was called Horizon Zero Dawn Wildfire. That doesn't look good either. That was just like an action show, not gameplay or anything.
Perhaps it's still in the cards, but
I doubt it.
I just don't understand why it feels like no one at these companies internally is putting their thinking caps on. It doesn't feel like they're being realistic. Because this was a very likely outcome that most people were kind of expecting to unfold
right off the rip.
Here.
Right off the rip.
So why are they already laying off people after only 2 weeks? Why wouldn't you go into a project like this with a longer runway? Like, look, we might be bleeding players for a couple months, and that's okay. Like, we have allocated budget to account for that as we look to try and find our community and build this game with the players. Like, they're already doing...
I think the only reason maybe is because they came from big studios and they just tried to take what they had, because they came from a the creators from Apex and Titanfall, right? So they had a big foundation already laid out. So maybe they just didn't understand how to manage or see the time frame or how to manage that time frame. Again, I also saw like a post where one of the creators on it or something was blaming everybody else for their problems, not looking like at what they could have done better and what they should have done better. So I can also see that being an issue. Like it's an ego thing. I don't know. I ain't no psychologist,
Mass
you know.
layoffs after just 2 weeks. So it seems like they were expecting this to just fucking explode and be the next Marvel Rivals or the next Call of Duty or something. Like, who really knows what the expectations are anymore at these companies? It just surprises me how quickly games
on sale.
will come and die. Anyway, though, taking a look at the LinkedIn here, this comes from someone named Alex Grainer. Unfortunately, along with most of the team at Wildlight, I was laid off today. This one really stings as there was a lot of unreleased content I was really looking forward to that I and others designed for Highguard. However, I'm excited for my next adventure. If your team or anyone you know needs an experienced level designer, hit me up. Check out my portfolio here to see what I've done the last 7 years as a level designer in the AAA space at alexgrainer.com. Cheers.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, adding that AAA at the bottom now, I don't know if that's a flex anymore, because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of AAA games are kind of ass now. You got your Call of Duties, you got your Assassin's Creed's failing. I mean, Battlefield, it did pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. I think I got my ROI on buying the game, kind of. I feel like I just can't go back to playing it anymore. Resident Evil, I did get like the bundle that just got on sale, but I don't know if I'm gonna get the new one. I never played a Resident Evil game before, so I gotta test that out to see how I feel about that. But I just feel like games that from AAA studios are always so expensive. They're like base price is 80 CAD, and then like you have like your Resident Evil that's like base 90. And I'm not trying to spend that kind of, and that's before tax. Like that's just base, you know. I'm not trying to spend that much money on this shit, especially if I'm only gonna play it for maybe like 2 weeks, depending on the game. Unless the story is like banging, but even then, $90 for a game, like bro, I could go play Cyberpunk again, because that's a banger game.
The way that Alex writes about it on LinkedIn sounds like most of the team at Wildlight has been laid off, and then he said how disappointed he is because there is unreleased content that they were excited for, meaning that it feels like that unreleased content is never coming. So my impression is that
I didn't think of that.
layoffs are in preparation for shutting it down, especially when you also look at Josh Sobel's post. Today I was laid off from my job at Wildlight along with most of the staff. Once again, echoing that same sentiment that most of the staff has been laid off. You can't run a game like Highguard with most of the staff gone, and this was the lead tech artist. So this is like a pretty big position, it feels like.
I don't know what that means. It would just be the design care? I don't know.
I've worked with, and I've never put so much of myself into a project before. I wouldn't trade the past 2.5 years for anything. And then he goes on to talk about his experience. So if anyone has
his
skills, expertise, please reach out about it. To me, this feels like the end of Highguard, more like Byguard, because it's saying goodbye here. It feels like these posts make it pretty clear that most of the staff has been laid off, and that it's likely winding itself down for that next closing step. It feels like it's in that stage where
it's just a free-to-play game,
probably closing its doors, but I could be entirely wrong. It's just, you know, the statement about the unreleased content that's not coming, these layoffs, most of the staff gone, as well as like a position like fucking lead tech artist. I mean, it'd be tough to keep the game going with basically no one left
without management, kind of thing.
You would think. Anyway, though, this isn't something that I think is worthy of celebration or anything. I wish Highguard was better and performed better, so that way they could keep chipping away at something and maybe make something special eventually. Like, take for example No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky came out to nothing but booze, just an absolute flood of booze.
Same with Cyberpunk.
And look what happened over the years. They worked so hard to make an extremely special game, and now No Man's Sky is a fucking masterpiece, right? I'm not saying Highguard was ever going.
Yeah, but I think the difference with No Man's Sky is that the concept of No Man's Sky is completely like kind of its own kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like a third person fly around in space, build and stuff. I feel like the whole kind of that genre is like kind of its own thing, and like the fact that it came out and it wasn't as good as what it was, but I think it was still kind of enjoyable. And the fact that they kept working on it, they didn't give up on it, and they just added on to what a good foundation they already had. Well, not the best, but just a good, okay foundation they already had. And same with Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk had a great foundation. It was just a little buggy and a little early on release. But once Phantom Liberty came out, bro, that game took it to the next level. I already loved the game before Phantom Liberty, bro, I fell in love. Honestly, I think Cyberpunk might be now my favorite game of all time. Like nothing could beat it, and I don't think nothing will ever beat it. That's how good it is. Maybe Cyberpunk 2.
To be able to do that, but I would just like if these games, you know, they actually were willing to stick with it for a while to at least see what they could do with it. I was very pessimistic about the game going into it because it didn't seem like a game that I was going to enjoy all that much. I tried.
I didn't think I was going to try it in the first place.
It's just kind of a meh thing, but who knows? Maybe if they really committed to it, they could have made something great out of it. Now, I don't think we'll ever really know, because it seems
maybe
like
it's just a shooter genre.
More than willing
it's
to
kind of dying.
Spend unfathomable amounts of money, millions of dollars, to develop a project like this, and then just close it in 2 weeks, just let it die, lay everyone off, say, well, that was a failure of an experiment, it is what it is. I would prefer if these games came out and were good. I don't like to see all these people losing their jobs. That sucks. And it's not like the developers were the ones that cooked the idea here. I imagine that came from a higher level position.
Yeah.
Most
who made the money?
Tell you got
actually, they didn't make money, so never mind. I don't know.
Ahead of you, a real war to fight if you're trying to carve out a strong community in a genre this full that Highguard was competing in. Like,
what did you expect? Yeah.
I feel like it should have been obvious, but I think so many people in the games industry at the highest level of the food chain just are delusional. Like, it is what it is, man. But anyway,
true.
I wanted to yap about this a little bit.
Call of Duty isn't dying. It's not a dog shit game.
We see Highguard saying that, you know, they're going to be closing it in the near future. But maybe
we'll see.
Maybe they are going to run this with a skeleton crew at Wildlight. As I was rendering this video, Wildlight Entertainment put out a statement saying, "Today we made an incredibly difficult decision to part ways with a number of our team members while keeping a core group of developers to continue innovating on and supporting the game. We're proud of the team, talent, and the product we've created together. We're also grateful for players who gave the game a shot and those who continue to be part of the community." So they're going to keep working on it, I guess. That maybe they aren't looking to shut it down,
but at least not yet. I don't know. Again, they have to pay the bill somehow, right? If people aren't buying in-game in-game transactions, you're not gonna make money. I don't know. If nobody's playing your game, nobody's gonna buy it, right? I feel like the people playing it now, they're playing because they kind of enjoy it or they like it, but at some point they're gonna play something else, and you gotta keep these guys here somehow. I don't know. And with only like 2,000 is set at the start, 3,000, like, bro, I don't know how they're gonna manage to keep those 3,000 people, or even get more people to even come by, because nobody's gonna be talking about this game anymore, in my opinion. Unless they pay for a streamer and then maybe kind of bring some hype out of it. But where are they gonna get the money for that? I don't know. There's a whole lot of ifs and buts.
They're just looking to maybe cut expenses, you know, save some money on the bottom line because the player base has dwindled so much. That's pretty surprising, I'm not gonna lie, because it's from some of the positions I've seen here, they seem to be pretty high,
pretty major ones.
So pretty interesting and honestly pretty surprising.
It's not too surprising.
All power to them if they are going to actually stick with it with their core developers here to keep carving out its own unique identity.
I don't think so. I think they're just gonna slowly die.
How it goes, but yeah, I mean, assuming that this is correct, seems like it's not goodbye guard. It's more of a see you later guard.
See you later, buddy.
Mark. I don't know.
Oh, hi, Mark.
That's the.
I don't know that ending was. What was he thinking with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The game, I never played it. It does purposely like an eye test. It doesn't look like anything new. Doesn't look like anything I'm gonna enjoy. It doesn't look like anything I want to even touch. I like my story-based games now. Maybe a little bit of League of Legends herbs on the side, and my little gotcha games. I play Arknights, like Enfield. Like, you know, I'm not spending money in it right now, so you know I'm good on that set. We're just playing the game. I just feel like a lot of games I enjoy now after getting older, getting unk status. I like my story mode games. I like my Cyberpunk. I like my Expedition 33. I like those kind of styles of games now. But tell me what you guys thinking down and below. Like, let me know what you guys think of the game. Did you guys play? Did you guys like even enjoy? Because I mean, probably odds are you guys didn't. Because I mean, they couldn't even keep like what 5% of their player base. But I do hope you did enjoy today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys would like me to react to next, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya.